Hello, everyone. A happy Sunday to you. A few hours ago, the Lord reminded me of something He spoke to me about some time ago, and it's related to the last video I did, and it actually starts with a question. When it seems God is silent or taking too long, what do you do? Do you consider trying other options, or do you keep trusting God? You know, it's easy to say your faith is in God alone, not until you've experienced a season of silence and delay. Yeah, a season of what we call silence. If you say you have faith in God, your faith will be tested. The delay is part of the test. If there's anything we hate most, it is being patient. Especially in this generation whereby we want everything to be instant, we want everything to be fast, we want everything to be quick. You know, oftentimes God allows a season of silence, of delay, to show us where our faith truly is. A friend of mine said when it seems God is silent or taking too long, our human nature kicks in and tries to fix the situation. Have you ever found yourself in situations whereby you just felt like you need to help God out because God is just too slow? Probably have you ever felt like you need to do certain things, you know? Hey, don't get me wrong. There are certain things, there are some situations whereby God will require us to do certain things. But there are also situations whereby something is going on and you calling upon God, you're telling Him to speak, and it's as if He's silent. Are you going to be patient enough to hear Him? Are you going to be patient enough to allow Him lead you? Are you going to be patient enough to allow Him do what He has promised to do? Or are you going to go ahead of Him and do whatever you're going to do, thinking, well, I need to help God out? Now, what did Abraham and Sarah do when it seemed God was taking too long to give them a child as He promised? Sarah told Abraham to sleep with her maid. How many of us have tried taking a similar step to the one that Abraham and Sarah took? Now, over here, when people are not able to give birth to children for a period of time, they consider other options. Maybe they've been looking for a child for a long time, they've prayed, they've fasted, and so many things. And that's when you see friends coming to say, see, heaven helped those who help themselves. I mean, if you're not able to have a child, there's one priestess, there's one priest I can take you to. There's one voodoo priest I can take you to. And the common thing over here is that people go to the river and request for a child from a marine priestess, and they go into covenants. Yeah. A friend of mine said, by attempting to try other options, she only added to difficulties in her life. When she could have had peace in the waiting, she added more headache to her life. See, when we try other options, we often put ourselves in harm's way or miss out of what God prepared for us. When we're too impatient, we end up settling for less or counterfeit. Often at times we try other options, we end up compromising our faith or stepping out of God's will for our lives. A friend of mine said, when it seems God is silent or taking too long, our flesh wants us to move outside of the will of God. And it's especially easy to do with money-related issues. Some time ago, I was faced with some financial needs, and huge. And I even prayed about it and received words about God's provision. But it got to a point when it seemed it was taking too long, and I was tempted to consider other options. Yes, I'm using myself as an example because it's something we all go through. What was the other option? Gambling, sport betting. The thought kept coming. It's one of the quickest way to get money, good amount of money, you know. So you can take care of the things you need and just do whatever you want to do. Get the app, make good predictions, while these thoughts were coming, the Lord started speaking to me, and that was how this sermon came about. See, God has a power to give you what you ask for instantly. But oftentimes He chooses not to, because He wants to show you where your heart and trust truly is. If God answers all of your prayers immediately, how can you learn patience? How will your faith grow? How can you learn to trust God? How can you know more about God? See, if God had gone the very moment, if Jesus had gone the very moment, Mary and Martha sent a message that Lazarus was sick, Lazarus would not have died. And what Jesus made known about Himself as the resurrection and life through the occasion of the death of Lazarus would not have been made known. So sometimes God allows a delay. God allows certain things to take too long. Sometimes God allows a season of silence because there's something about Himself that we are yet to know that He wants to make known to us. Sometimes God allows certain things to happen because He wants to reveal His works, who He is, and what He can do. But are we going to be patient enough to allow God to reveal Himself, or are we going to step out and just do whatever we want because we're tired? Oftentimes, God doesn't grant our heart desires and what we ask for, not because they are bad, but because we are not matured enough to steward them. God knows that if He gives us certain things in our current state, those things will become God in our lives and take us far away from Him. Those things will become an idol. Yeah. Do you know how long it took before David became king? Couldn't David have gotten tired of waiting and try other options? He could have made a plot to destroy King Saul, to dethrone King Saul. He would have made a plot to assassinate King Saul and then just enter the throne. Even when he had the opportunity to kill Saul, he didn't. See, if David had killed Saul that very moment, I believe he would have become king. Yeah. Oftentimes we try other options. We cut short the preparation process and miss out on what God was teaching us or building in us. Some of you may be thinking of doing something you know you shouldn't do because you feel God is taking too long to heart. God is taking too long to provide. God is taking too long to open the door. God is taking too long to give me a child. God is taking too long to lead me to my spouse. God is taking too long to expand my ministry. God is taking too long to answer my prayers. God is taking too long to do this. God is taking too long to do that. You feel you cannot wait any longer, and so you want to go do it your way or do what others do to get what they want instantly. Yeah. A few years ago, I tried traveling to a European country, but was denied a visa. Things didn't really go as planned. An offer came to marry a citizen from that nation just for the purpose of getting visa and a green card. A fellow Nigerian who was already in that country even called me and said, "This is a wonderful opportunity that many pay thousands of dollars for, but you're getting it for free. Make sure you grab it." The enemy was whispering in my ears, "Come on, lots of people are doing it and it's working for them. You're just to marry her for a few months, and once you get your papers and permit, you divorce." And the person even agreed. "Hey, I'm willing to do this for you." One thing I love about God is that He allows certain things to happen and uses those things to speak to us. I want you to know that when something is God's will for your life and when it is the set time, you won't have to force it or manipulate your way into it. A minister of God once said that something appears good doesn't make it God's will. Yeah, that something appears good doesn't make it God's will. I think I should end it here and do a part 2 because I don't want it to exceed 10 minutes. But this is a question I'm going to leave for you. Are you currently in a situation whereby you're thinking of considering other options? Are you in a season whereby you're tired of waiting? Are you in a season whereby you just want to do whatever you want to do? Ask yourself that question. I will see you in part 2.